Shalom, all praises be unto Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Hashem, Rachak, with dash, the blunders unto the elder apostles, the elder bishops, a great millstone, who are well to us this truth. Salutes unto the Arkham, who continue to push the word in truth and in sincerity. Now, this is Genesis chapter 1, and I did a video on this earlier, but there's a key point which I didn't really touch on, so I just want to touch on that now, very quickly now, and it's along the lines of, which has been coming out, the whole IUIC thing, the new moon, and, them saying that the full moon is the new moon, and, the Friday, keeping of the Friday to Saturday gig as a Sabbath, right? And pretty much it goes back to Judaism, which they worship Saturn, as to why they wear yarmulkes on their heads, and keep a so-called Sabbath from Friday evening to Saturday evening. It all goes back to the worship of Saturn. So if you dig a little deeper, which I did pretty much on the surface level, wasn't even deep really, it was just surface level. But this commentary, this is an app. I've got the Bible app, Blue Letter Bible app, and I've got the Torah app. Now this is the Torah app on the phone, and it comes with Jewish thought and influence study notes. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Rashi is one of Judaism's biggest scholars, and is very instrumental to the shaping of Jewish mysticism. Now, they do commentary on verse by verse and Torah portions, right? Now, earlier I spoke about this one, whereby Rashi said, this is talking about the Genesis, the creation, and as we established, the creation account is not a calendar creation, all right? The calendar was not established in Genesis chapter 1. Genesis chapter 1 let us know what happened and what went down, okay? But the calendar wasn't formulated in Genesis 1. The account of Genesis 1 is not to be confused with the creating or creation of a calendar. Yeah, you got creation of the universe, then the creation of the calendar, the implementation of the calendar on top of that is two separate things. Anyways, Rashi says that and you may say, well, why are you debating Judaism? Well, the Friday to Saturday gig comes from Judaism. So let's dig a little deeper into what you subliminally subscribe to, the Friday to Saturday sundown. Yeah. Because the Sabbath was first mentioned in Genesis, the first chapter. Okay. Now, the account of creation, after the 6,000 year period. Now, anyways, here we have Rashi saying that pretty much the angels weren't created until the third day. Now, I already dealt with that in the previous video, right? But again, just to show you that mysticism and the creation and addition of man, and when the Most High is not dealing with people, essentially, it goes contrary to the scriptures, because there's nothing wrong with a commentary on the scriptures, but when your commentary on the scriptures is not in line with the truth, it just opens up a portal of dark, demonic depths that don't want to be delved into, man. Okay, he says that the angels were created on the third day, right? Well, Genesis 1 verse 1 goes against that. Okay. Now, here they say Bereshit, which is Barafayash, all right, which is the headings. All right, the headings. All right, so really it should say in the headings, or the head represents the beginning of something, right? But their translation, and the English rendering, there's various, renderings of translation. They all pretty much say the same thing. There's no exact wording in English that's correct or that's wrong. The King James is the closest, but you may have other versions which vary, like this Torah app. I've got the Tanakh. We use that in the Passover service. That varies in English rendering, so it's not completely off. It conveys the message. So here from the Torah app, it says, when God began to create heaven and earth. Okay, the earth being unformed and void, with darkness over the surface of the deep, and the wind from God sweeping over the water. God said that there be light, and there was light. Okay, let's stop there. Now, what we'll do is go to the blue letter here and go to Genesis, the first chapter, and 1, and it says in the beginning. So we can already see the difference in translation. When God began to create, in the beginning, whatever. All right, not gonna fight over that. It is what it is. As I said, we go by the King James Version primarily, being the closest translation, but other translations are totally wrong in the way they word or phrase certain things. It depends upon the take of the translator. It can convey the message. Right? In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. So the key word I want to take from that is in Genesis 1:1, it says the word God here in the King James, right? And it also says God, when God began to create. Different wording, but the word God is there. All right, let's tap into that word God. Okay. When we tap into the word God there, the word there, it says, is H430, Elohim. Elohim. All right. Now let's tap into it again. Elohim, which in the correct Hebrew, the Lashon Kodash, okay, it would be Al-Chayam. Al-Chayam. Okay. In the Yiddish, they say Elohim. In the Paleo Hebrew, which is the proper Hebrew, it's Al-Chayam. Now, it says here, outline of biblical usage, plural. Plural. Now, the small hats, they already don't believe in that Yahushua was the Messiah. They obviously they say JC. They refer to Christians as JC people. I've watched Jewish studies and lessons, and their take on Christianity and things of that nature. I watch a lot of documentaries and things of that nature. They refer to Christians as JC people, short for Jesus Christ. So they already don't accept Jesus, as it were. We know his name's Yahushua. They don't accept him as the come Messiah. They believe in a Messiah will come, Mashiach will come, and all that stuff, but they don't believe that Yahushua was the Messiah. Okay, fair enough. So why then, if, as they say, Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad, which is what we say in Lashon Kodash, Shema Yasha'ala Yahuwah Eloheinu Yahuwah Echad, if then the Most High is Echad, is one, which is a truth, why then is the word Elohim rendered there, or Al-Chayam rendered there in Genesis 1 verse 1? There had to be more entities. So Rashi, what's going on, bro? What's going on? These are the same man that implemented the Friday to Saturday thing. Yeah? And you Israelites now, a couple of you want to be calling yourself in the truth but following the Friday to Saturday thing. You're not understanding the whole gig comes from these man here that just formulated a lot of satanic bullshit. Yeah? They're not understanding the Hebrew. Because first and foremost, Germanic influences, aka Yiddish, is not pure Hebrew. So what's going on? It's not adding up. Make it make sense. The maths ain't mathing. Yeah? Okay. It's not adding up. Okay. He said that the angels were made. Let's read it. Because the Holy One, blessed be He, was then the only one sole being in his universe, since the angels were not created until the second day. What are you talking about, man? What are you talking about? The very word there rendered in Hebrew for God is al-Chayam, which is plural. So if you don't believe in the Messiah, you say that the Most High was by himself, the only sole being. The angels weren't created till the second day. How then, if the Most High is Echad, which is true, how then can he be referred to as plural? They ain't got the answers, man. They ain't got the answers. But you guys are still hell-bent on following this Friday to Saturday thing. They ain't got the answers for day 1 of creation, day 2 of creation, day 3 of creation, day 4. They're getting all messed up. The angels were created on the second day. God was by himself and this and that. They don't understand, man. But they'll push a Friday to Saturday gig down your throat, and you rather believe that compared to the moon. We can go to Sirach where it speaks about that. The month was named after the moon. It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. Now, we know the correct breakdown there. Al-Khayyam is referring to none other than Yahweh Shai and the first fruits of angels. Okay, which would be the elect upon the earth today. Before we came down on the earth, we were with Yahweh Shai. Okay. All right, well, let's track it back. At some point, all right, outside of time, Yahweh created a spirit. That first spirit to actively come out of Yahweh was Yahweh Shai. Then the Father created more spirits, but then gave those spirits into the hand and power of Yahweh Shai to bring into existence. Those spirits are the elect. Yahweh Shai leading those spirits, aka angels, created the universe. So when it says in the beginning God created, it's Barashayaf al-Khayyam. In the beginning, or in the headings, the powers created. Those powers is Yahweh Shai and the angels. So how then, Rashi? How then? When you get in on the first, bro, that before the first 1,000-year period, excuse me, before the first 1,000-year period, the angels, the Al-Khayyam, already existed. They already came into creation. They already came into existence at the hand of Yahweh wa Yahweh Shai. So in this short space of time, we've proven that they don't know the He. They don't have the codes. They don't understand the Bible. They don't. All right. They can quote Jewish mysticism. They can quote Rashi. They can quote Ibn Ezra. They can quote Berechot. What else do they have? They can quote Rambam. They can quote Aret Eliyahu. All right. Avi Ezer. Okay. They can quote Biat Havilah on Torah. They can quote Berechat Ashar on Torah. They can quote Chankut HaTorah, Khatam Sofer. All these various sources, they can quote these till the cows come home. But let them give you the correct breakdown of the Torah. They can't do it. So why are some of you Israelites still hell-bent on a Friday to Saturday thing when that comes from the same people that can't even break down Genesis 1 verse 1 correct? But then you're going to take their version of a calendar that they follow, which they openly worship Satan? Come on, man.